Life Force is a 1985, 1985 sci-fi horror movie directed by Tobe Hooper, starring Steve Reisbach, Peter Firth, Frank Finley, and Nicholas Ball, and introducing Matilda May. Now, space vampires. This is what this movie's about. So this spaceship goes up into space, finds this spaceship there with a bunch of dead giant bats and three naked humans in chrysalises. So they bring him back to Earth. The Nothing's heard from the ship, so they send up another astronaut party to retrieve him. They bring him down. The female wakes up and starts draining the life force from people. And then, so it's just this government trying to, contain this thing that's happening, because when people get their life force drained, the victims, they wake up, and so they essentially become zombies. And they have to drain somebody else, to keep it going, or else they shrivel up and they explode into dust. That's fucking awesome. So you find out the captain of the first ship that everyone died from went in an escape pod, came down, and he's like, "Is she here? She needs to be found and destroyed." Now she is played by Matilda May, and she is naked in like 75% of this movie, and it's awesome because she's extremely beautiful, and it's like, yeah, because this character's, a seductress, so that plays with it that she is completely nude. That just helps with it. Fuck you, I don't need to explain myself. Nudity's awesome. And this movie is a lot of fun to watch because it's definitely a slow burn of a movie. And I really do like that aspect of it. It's these characters that are trying to find out where she's gonna be, why the other two, the men, haven't woken up yet, and what happens if they do, and trying to stop the end of the fucking world. Now, what I will say is, I thought the build of this movie was awesome, but it didn't land the forceful punch I wanted to, like with the conclusion. If it was just a little more fighting, I think it'd be cool, but I do like the evolution the one character has to go through, which is the captain of the old ship, to his overcoming certain things he's possibly holding from the other two characters, or certain revelations that happen. Now, when this movie was originally released, it tanked, and there was a lot of problems on set, and a bunch of shit was missing. It was originally a 101 minutes. The new director's cleaned up cut is 116, so there's like 15 extra minutes with a brand new score. Now, the score I want to mention, this score is just epic. It is just amazing. It just sounds so good, and I was just drawn back by the score. I'm like, this is just amazing orchestratic work, and sounds incredible. And the visual effects and all the models used and the violence itself is awesome, and the cinematography is cool. Just like shit that happens in the background, they do. And just the slow pans, and overall I would suggest this movie, but while watching this movie you do have to like shift your expectations of how it's going to end. So, or the movie itself, because it's being a slower burn, did surprise me a bit. I thought it'd be a little more punchier because of how epic and dynamic the story is. It really does take its time to slowly get to where it's going. And part of me where it's like, I don't really think that the journey was worth where the movie ends up, but I did really enjoy it and do highly recommend the movie. I give it a solid 3 out of 5. I think you really should check out this underrated film.